Let's get started. You'll need a piece of paper and a pencil. Find the middle of your paper. We're going to start there, but we're going to be using the whole piece of paper. We're going to start with a rainbow, not too tall, but not too short. Curve your line around like a nice arch. It doesn't have to be smooth. And then we're going to do a second arch or rainbow underneath, not quite as high. Connect both sides. Next, we're going to start making some long wavy lines in whatever direction you want your hand to move. Right next to it, I'm going to do another line that follows the same curves, but this one is a little bit wavy. I'm going to continue making lots of these, doing some overlapping and jumping over any line in my way. Sometimes I'm making the lines smooth, and they are parallel. You remember that means two lines that travel in the same direction without touching. When you add overlapping, your jellyfish starts to look more three-dimensional with lots of layers. So continue adding lines in different directions. I always like to look at pictures of jellyfish too, so I know what the tentacles look like if you want your picture to look a little bit more realistic. I'm also adding some very thin, long lines in different directions too. I like variety, so I'll even add a curly line. These are very interesting creatures that float. The cool thing I'm going to do now is just kind of put the back of the jellyfish in here, so it looks like it's coming through, and add a couple more lines to help it look three-dimensional. Once you're ready to add some color, you've got lots of choices. I've got a crayon in my hand I'm using first to do some shading. Underneath here, it would be very dark. No light is getting up there. One of my other favorite things to do is to add some washable marker around the edges and contours next to the other permanent black marker lines so that I can then take a wet paintbrush and go around and turn that ink into a beautiful watercolor wash. Be very careful that you don't overwork this. You don't want to scrub, you just wet the ink and let that magic happen all by itself. You can use any color ink you want. This could be a rainbow jellyfish or your favorite colors. Add some ink into each tentacle and then go back with a wet brush and blend and let that color get soft. The last thing I'm going to do is grab my paintbrush and do a little bit of splattering to give the illusion of bubbles and under the sea. I have a paint spritzer here that also does a splatter effect. If you don't have one, a paintbrush works great, or an old toothbrush. And splatter around. Don't cover your jellyfish. Go around the edges, adding as much as you want.